Cockcrow. Literary dawn. Earhole. The external opening of the ear. Empanel. Variant spelling of impanel. Malinger. Pretend to be ill in order to avoid duty or work. Mongabay. A long-tailed monkey from West and Central Africa. Opprobrious. Formal expressing criticism or scorn. Parturient. Technical about to give birth, in labor. Police. Historical, a woman's long cloak with armholes or sleeves. Phallocentric. Focused on the penis as a symbol of male dominance. Filter. A love potion. Piffling. Informal, trivial, unimportant. Potsherd. A piece of broken pottery. Pre-plan. Plan something in advance. Ramify. Chiefly technical form parts that branch out. Read-write. Computing capable of reading existing data and accepting alterations or further input. Re-edit. Edit something again. Rhapsodize. Express great enthusiasm about someone or something. Sou'wester. A waterproof hat with a broad brim or flap covering the back of the neck. Spicule. Chiefly zoology, a small needle-like object or structure. Talk time. The time during which a cell phone is in use to handle calls, especially as a measure of the duration of the battery. Temporize. Be evasive or delay making a decision in order to gain time. Tunesmith. Informal, a composer of popular music or songs. Unforthcoming. Not willing to reveal information. Vatic. Literary, predicting what will happen in the future. Worrywart. Informal, a person who tends to dwell unduly on difficulty or troubles. Belly flop. Informal, a dive into water, landing flat on one's front. Cowcatcher. A metal frame at the front of a locomotive for pushing aside obstacles. Decagon. A plane figure with 10 straight sides and angles. De-link. Break the connection between two things. Depersonalize. Deprive someone or something of human characteristics or individuality. Digerite. Informal, people with expertise in information technology. Full-blown. Fully developed. Infelicitous. Unfortunate, inappropriate. Look-see. Informal, a brief look or inspection. Make-believe. A state of fantasy or pretense. Niblick. Golf, dated an iron with a heavy head, used for playing out of bunkers. Non-event. An event that is not as interesting or important as it was expected to be. Papule. A small pimple or swelling on the skin, often forming part of a rash. Paradiddle. Music, a simple drum roll consisting of 4 even strokes. Percipient. Having a sensitive understanding, perceptive. Periphrasis. The use of indirect and roundabout language. Preliterate. Relating to a society. Protraction. The action of prolonging something or the state of being prolonged. Putrescent. Becoming putrid, rotting. Racino. A building complex or grounds. Rat trap. A trap for catching rats. Rubicund. Having a reddish complexion. Thalassotherapy. The use of seawater in cosmetic and health treatment. Trochee. A foot, unit of poetic meter, consisting of one long or stressed syllable followed by one short or unstressed syllable. Unwanted. Not usual or expected. Vagary. A change that cannot be predicted or explained. Appertain. Formal relate to. Autarky. Another term for autocracy. Bloviate. Talk at length, especially using inflated or empty rhetoric. Broadloom. Carpet woven in wide widths. Catechize. Teach someone about the principles of the Christian religion by means of question and answer, especially by using a catechism. Choky. Having or causing difficulty in breathing. Co-sleeping. The practice of parents allowing a young child to sleep in the same bed as them. Demodulate. Electronics extract or separate a modulating signal from its carrier. Designedly. On purpose, intentionally. Duckboards. Wooden slats joined together to form a path over muddy ground. Expatiate. Speak or write at length or in detail. Farinaceous. Made of flour or meal. Falafel. Variant spelling of falafel. Feldspar/fel, d, spar/, also felspar. Forepaw. Either of the front paws of a quadruped. Fruiterer. A person who sells fruit. Gooseflesh. Another term for gooseums. Humidify. Often as adj humidified, increase the level of moisture in air. Lodestone. Variant spelling of lodestone. Menaquinone. A member of the vitamin K group, a compound produced by bacteria in the intestines, essential for blood clotting. Microcircuit. A minute electric circuit, especially an integrated circuit. Monoglot. Using or speaking only one language. Mumbo-jumbo. Informal language or a ceremony that seems complicated but has no real meaning. Muniments. Law title deeds or other documents proving a person's right of ownership of land. Peregrination. Literary a long or rambling journey. Periwig. A wig of a kind worn in the 17th and 18th centuries. Prerecord. Record sound or film in advance. Pre-treat. Treat something with a chemical before use. Profiterole. A small hollow pastry filled with cream and covered with chocolate sauce. Romanize. put written words into the Roman alphabet or into Roman type. Ruritanian. Relating to or typical of romantic adventure or its setting. Sami. The people of Lapland in northern Scandinavia. Sapodilla. A large evergreen tropical American tree with hardwood and a milky latex that is used to make chewing gum. Schottisch. A dance resembling a slow polka. Smirch. Make someone or something dirty. Songsmith. Informal, a writer of popular songs. Tally-ho. A huntsman's cry to the hounds on sighting a fox. Tbone. A large choice piece of loin steak containing a T-shaped bone. Thundershower. A brief rain shower accompanied by thunder and lightning. Visor. Variant spelling of visor. Xebec. Historical, a small three-masted Mediterranean sailing ship. Zabaglione. An Italian dessert made of whipped egg yolks, sugar, and wine. Anglicize. Make English in form or character. Comestible. Formal or humorous, an item of food. Cross-cultural. Of or relating to different cultures or comparison between them. Desuetude. Formal, a state of disuse. Drop dead. Informal, used to emphasize attractiveness. Embonpoint. Plumpness, especially of a woman's bosom. Fog-bound. Surrounded or hidden by fog. Fusspot. Informal, a fussy person. Gallimaufry. A jumble or mixture. Ground sheet. A waterproof sheet spread on the ground, typically under such groundskeeper camping gear as a tent or a sleeping bag. Heavy-handed. Clumsy, insensitive, or overly forceful. Monosyllable. A word of one syllable. Name-dropping. The casual mentioning of famous people as if one knows them, so as to impress others. Overgenerous. Excessively generous. Persiflage. Formal, light mockery or banter. Promisor. Law, a person who makes a promise. Record-breaking. Beating a record or best ever achievement. Roister. Enjoy oneself or celebrate in a noisy or boisterous way. Sentimentalize. Present or treat something in a sentimental way. Soapsuds. Another term for sups. Syncopate. Alter the beats or accents of music so that strong beats become weak and vice versa. Trepidatious. Informal, apprehensive or nervous. Unsurfaced. Not provided with a hard-wearing upper layer. Voluptuary. A person who enjoys sensual or sexual pleasure very much. Vulcanite. Hard black vulcanized rubber. Water-based. Using or having water as a medium or main ingredient. Analysand. A person who is undergoing psychoanalysis. Anathematize. Curse or condemn. Anglicism. A word or phrase that is peculiar to British English. Belemnite. A type of extinct marine mollusk with a bullet-shaped internal shell, found as a fossil. Brilliantine. Dated scented oil used on men's hair to make it look glossy. Bugloss. A bristly plant with bright blue flowers. Catamite. Old use a boy kept by an older man as a homosexual partner. Cerebration. Chiefly formal the working of the brain, thinking. Chorine. A chorus girl. Classicizing. Imitating a classical style. Endomorph. Physiology: a person with a soft round body build and a high proportion of fat tissue. Enshroud. Literary: envelop something completely and hide it from view. Frankenfood. Informal, derogatory: a genetically modified food. Frequentative. Grammar, of a verb or verbal form, expressing frequent repetition or intensity of action. Guaiacum. An evergreen tree of the Caribbean and tropical America, formerly important for its hard, heavy, oily wood. Homograph. Each of two or more words having the same spelling but different meanings and origins, e.g. sow and bow. In this dictionary. Joggle. Move with repeated small jerks. Kilocalorie. A unit of energy of 1,000 calories, equal to 1 large calorie. Mule. Cry feebly. Mulligatawny. A spicy meat soup originally made in India. Obligato. Variant spelling of obligato. Obligatory/esbliga/p adjective required by a law, rouse or custom, compulsory. Overstimulate. Stimulate someone or something excessively. Piscatorial. Having to do with fish. Predecease. Formal: die before another person. Right-click. Press the right-hand button on a computer mouse. Servomechanism. A powered mechanism producing motion or forces at a higher level of energy than the input level, e.g., in the brakes and steering of large motor vehicles. Slip-up. Informal: a mistake. Syllabub. A whipped cream dessert, typically flavored with white wine or sherry. Three-quarter. Rugby: each of 4 players in a team positioned across the field behind the halfbacks. Trainspotter. Brit. Upraise. Raise something to a higher level. Uxorious. U2I/50Z8/. Bedsore. A sore caused by lying in bed in one position for a long time. Carbonize. Convert something into carbon, typically by heating or burning. Dirigisme. Government control of economic and social matters. Dispirit. Cause someone to lose enthusiasm or hope. Dodecagon. A plane figure with 12 straight sides and angles. Ebonized. Made to look like ebony. Ensconce. Settle in a comfortable, safe, or secret place. Expectorate. Cough or spit out phlegm from the throat or lungs. Footsore. Having sore feet from much walking. Headword. A word that begins a separate entry in a reference book such as a dictionary. Heronry. A breeding colony of herons, typically in a group of trees. High-level. Involving senior people, of relatively high importance. Loyal. Showing firm and constant support for a person, an organization, or one's country. Mistime. Choose an inappropriate moment to do or say something. Monotreme. A mammal that possesses a cloaca and lays eggs, i.e., a platypus or echidna. Moly. A variety of large white slender radish. Neophobia. Extreme or irrational fear or dislike of anything new or unfamiliar. Post-feminist. Moving beyond or rejecting some of the earlier ideas of feminism as out of date. Punkah. Chiefly historical, in India, a large cloth fan on a frame suspended from the ceiling, worked by a cord or electrically. Reinsure. Transfer all or part of a risk to another insurer to provide protection against the risk of the first insurance. Rototiller. Trademark a machine with rotating blades for breaking up or tilling the soil. Solecism. A grammatical mistake. Stout-hearted. Courageous or determined. Vitrify. Convert something into glass or a glass-like substance by exposure to heat. All-American. Possessing qualities characteristic of American ideals, such as honesty, industriousness, and health. Ammonoid. An extinct cephalopod mollusk with a flat-coiled spiral shell, found commonly as a fossil in marine deposits. Axle. Figure skating a jump with a forward takeoff from the forward outside edge of one skate to the backward outside edge of the other, with 1.5 turns in the air. Basket work. Material woven in the style of a basket. Brochette. A dish of meat or fish chunks barbecued, grilled, or roasted on a skewer. Cockchafer. A large brown flying beetle. Congeries. A disorderly collection. Counterpane. A bedspread. Encrust. Cover something with a hard surface layer. End user. The person who uses a particular product. Flaruit. Used to indicate when a historical figure lived, worked, or was most active. Flurried. Agitated, confused, or anxious. Forebode. Old use act as an advance warning of something bad. Free range. Kept or produced in natural conditions, where the animals may move around freely. Gabardine. Variant spelling of gabardine. Hard-hitting. Uncompromisingly direct and honest. Hard-pressed. In difficulties or under pressure. Hard-wearing. Able to stand much wear. Hasid. Variant spelling of hasap. Hejra. Variant spelling of hijra. Held past and past participle of hold. Heliskiing. Skiing in which the skier is taken up the mountain by helicopter. Hypericin. A substance found in the leaves and flowers of St. John's wort, believed to have properties similar to those of antidepressant drugs. Incertitude. A state of uncertainty. Catching. Used to represent the sound of a cash register, especially with reference to making money. Megavolt. 1 million volts. Overstrain. Place too much strain on someone or something. Phatic. Used for general social interaction rather than to convey information or ask questions. Purlieu. Purlieus, the area near or surrounding a place. Reflate. Increase an economy's level of output. Roguery. Dishonest, immoral, or mischievous behavior. Rusticate. Go to, live in, or spend time in the country. Self-conscious. Nervous, awkward, or embarrassed as a result of being worried about how one appears to other people. Speleology. The study or exploration of caves. Trickle-down. The theory that the poorest people in society gradually benefit as a result of the increasing wealth of the richest. Unwrinkled. Not wrinkled. Vermifuge. A medicine used to destroy worms that live in or on the bodies of people or animals. Wide angle. Having a short focal length and so covering a wider view than a standard lens. Arm wrestling. A contest in which two seated people clasp hands and try to force each other's arm down onto a surface. Aravista. Often derogatory, a person who has recently become wealthy or risen in social status or is ambitious to do so. Bezique. A card game for two players, played with a double deck of. Calciferous. Containing or producing calcium salts, especially calcium carbonate. Collocate. Of a word, frequently occur with another. Confect. Formal make something by putting together various elements. Dithyramb. An ecstatic choral hymn dedicated to the god Dionysus. Factorize. Mathematics break down or be able to be broken down into factors. Galoot. Informal, a clumsy or stupid person. Greenskeeper. A person employed to look after a golf course. Involuted. Formal, complicated or intricate. Lentigo. As mallee brown patch on the skin, typically found in elderly people. Commerce. Commercial dealings carried out electronically by cell phone. Non-com. Military informal, a non-commissioned officer. Farming. The genetic modification of plants and animals so that they produce substances that can be used as pharmaceuticals. Ponderable. Literary, worthy of consideration, thought-provoking. Reprehend. Reprimand someone. Retardando. And adjective, music with a gradual decrease of speed. Rushlight. Historical, a candle made by dipping the pith of a rush in tallow. Saprophyte. A plant, fungus, or microorganism that lives on decaying matter. Sulfa. Short for tonic SOLFA. Tautog. A grayish olive edible wrasse found off the Atlantic coast of North America. Unman. Literary deprive a man of qualities traditionally associated with men, such as self-control or courage. Unpeopled. Empty of people. Vulcanize. Harden rubber by treating it with sulfur at a high temperature. Walk-on. Small and not involving any speaking. Airsick. Feeling sick due to air travel. Anatomize. Examine and analyze in detail. Berkelium. A radioactive metallic chemical element. Indue. Literary, USU. Entry level. Suitable for a beginner or first-time user. Fact-finding. Having the purpose of discovering and establishing facts about something. Gasohol. A mixture of gasoline and ethanol used as fuel for internal combustion engines. Greenlander. A person from Greenland. Hair-splitting. The making of small and unnecessary distinctions. Hardihood. Dated boldness, daring. Indrawn. Of breath, taken in. Journalese. Informal and unoriginal and poor writing style supposedly typical of journalists. Millefeuille. A cake consisting of thin layers of puff pastry and such fillings as whipped cream, custard, or fruit. Ostrogoth. A member of the eastern branch of the Goths, who conquered Italy in the 5th to 6th centuries AP. Prettify. Make something appear pretty. Reanalyze. Carry out a further analysis of something. Run through. A rehearsal. Self-harm. Deliberate injury to oneself, typically as a sign of psychological or psychiatric disorder. Uncontrived. Not appearing artificial. VJ. Informal a VJ. Video link. A connection used to convey a video signal. Aureate. Made of or having the color of gold. Color fast. Dyed in colors that will not fade or be washed out. Consubstantiation. Christian theology, the doctrine that the substance of the bread and wine coexists with the body and blood of Christ in the Eucharist. Coipu. A large beaver-like South American rodent, farmed for its fur. Digicam. A digital camera. Dawnish. Like a college don, concerned with scholarly rather than practical matters. Fructify. Formal one, make or become fruitful. Full length. Of the standard length. Interstice. A small space between things. Non-operational. Not working or in use. Outman. USU. Overdramatize. React to or portray something in an excessively dramatic. Pestiferous. literary carrying infection and disease. Porringer. Historical, a small bowl, often with a handle, used for soup or similar food. Poteen. Whiskey that is made illicitly. Rechristen. Give a new name to someone or something. Rever. A user of a recreational vehicle. See-through. Transparent or translucent. Semi-retired. Having retired from employment but continuing to work part-time or occasionally. Situationism. A radical cultural and political movement of the mid-20th century that rejected conventional politics and aimed to transform attitudes to all aspects of everyday life. Strikebreaker. A person who works or is employed in place of others who are on strike. Tigerish. Resembling a tiger, especially in being fierce. Uneatable. Not fit to be eaten. Unperson. A person whose name or existence is officially denied or ignored. Upright. Increase the value of a payment. Cart horse. A large, strong horse suitable for heavy work. Clodhopper. Informal one, a large, heavy shoe. Escritoire. A small writing desk with drawers and compartments. Exemplum. An example or model. Graybeard. Humorous, an old man. Jump off. A deciding round in a show jumping competition. Junglist. A performer or fan of jungle music. Lawful. Following, permitted by, or recognized by the law or a set of rules. Lawrencium. A very unstable chemical element made by high-energy collisions. Misconstruction. The action of misinterpreting something. Necessitous. Formal, lacking the basic requirements of life, poor. No-brainer. Informal, something that involves little or no mental effort. No good. Informal, of a person, contemptible, worthless. Overladen. Carrying too large a load. Overmantel. An ornamental structure over a mantelpiece. Panglossian. Literary, unrealistically optimistic. Past. Move or go onward, past, through, or across. Raillery. Good-humored teasing. Scintillate. Give off flashes of light, sparkle. Shirt sleeve. The sleeve of a shirt. Stop motion. A technique of film animation in which the camera is repeatedly stopped and started to give the impression of movement. Thinnings. Seedlings, trees, or fruit that have been thinned out to improve the growth of those remaining. Turn on. Informal, a person or thing that makes one feel excited or sexually aroused. Neck. A neckline having straight sides meeting at a point to form a V shape. Whipcord. Thin, tough, tightly twisted cord used for making the flexible end part of whips. Xeriscape. A style of landscape design needing little or no water or maintenance, used in arid regions. Acidulous. Cutting, bitter. Adumbrate. Format 4 give a general idea of, outline. Botswanan. A person from Botswana, a country of southern Africa. Confute. Formal prove a person or an accusation or assertion to be wrong. Couchette. A railroad car with seats convertible into sleeping berths. Distraite. Distracted, absent-minded. Doo-wop. A style of pop music involving close harmony vocals and nonsense phrases. Exiguous. Formal, very small. Hoo-ha. Informal, a commotion or fuss. Jocose. Formal, playful or humorous. Mop top. A man's hairstyle in the form. Multiplicand. A quantity that is to be multiplied by another, the multiplier. Pertinacious. Formal, persistent and determined. Preter. Variant spelling of preter. Purblind. Jittery, one lacking awareness or understanding. Repine. Literary, be discontented, fret. Superpose. Place something on or above something else. Supinator. A muscle whose contraction produces or assists in the supination of a limb or part of a limb. Underfund. Fail to provide an organization, project, etc., with enough funding. Aviculture. The breeding of birds. Barograph. A barometer that records its readings on a moving chart. Calcine. Reduce, oxidize, or dry a substance by exposure to strong heat. Cardiograph. An instrument for recording heart muscle activity. Caterwaul. Make a shrill howling or wailing noise. Catheterize. Medicine, insert a catheter into a patient or body cavity. Centesimal. Relating to division into hundredths. Cosecant. The ratio of the hypotenuse to the side opposite an acute angle. Countercharge. An accusation made in turn by someone against their accuser. Dehiss. Technical, especially of a seed case, gape or burst open. Duty-free. And adverb, of goods, exempt from payment of duty. Fish stick. A small oblong piece of flaked or ground fish coated in batter or breadcrumbs. Flabbergast. Informal, surprise someone greatly. Gallinaceous. Relating to the order of birds that includes domestic poultry and game birds such as grouse, partridges, and pheasants. Jollification. Lively celebration with others, merrymaking. Longer. A tedious period of time or passage in a book or piece of music. Mahi-mahi. An edible marine fish of warm seas, with silver and bright blue or green coloration. Metacarpus. The group of 5 bones of the hand between the wrist and the fingers. Minatory. Formal, threatening. Reduplicate. Repeat or copy something so as to form another of the same kind. Steeplejack. A person who climbs tall structures such as chimneys and steeples in order to carry out repairs. Tutee. A student of a tutor. Tuvaluan. A person from Tuvalu, a country made up of a number of islands in the SW Pacific. Undersexed. Having unusually weak sexual desires. Unloose. Undo or release something. Venery. Old use hunting. Wah-wah. A musical effect achieved on an electric guitar by use of a pedal and on brass instruments by alternately applying and removing a mute. Benignant. Less common term for benign. Byplay. Secondary action in a play or byway/by-wa/. Cross-current. A current in a river or sea that flows across another. Cumbrous. Literary cumbersome. Dehumidify. Remove moisture from the air or a gas. Detrain. Leave a train. Dissimulate. Hide or disguise one's thoughts or feelings. Extemporize. Compose or perform something without preparation, improvise. First line. Of first resort. Livian. Of a domestic employee, living in an employer's house. Pipe clay. A fine white clay, used for making tobacco pipes or for whitening leather. Rontgen. Variant spelling of Röntgen. Seaborgium. A very unstable chemical element made by high-energy atomic collisions. Single-minded. Concentrating with determination on one particular aim. Stinkhorn. A fungus with a rounded head that turns into a foul-smelling slimy substance containing the spores. Tree creeper. A small brown songbird that creeps about on the trunks of trees to search for insects. Tuffet. A tuft or clump. Unblushing. Not feeling or showing embarrassment or shame. Vulgarism. A word or expression that refers to sex or bodily functions in a rude way. All-inclusive. Including everything or everyone. Disarrange. Make something untidy or disordered. Embrocation. A liquid medication rubbed on the body to relieve pain from strains. Eremite. A Christian hermit. Frou-frou. Frills or other ornamentation. Ladyfinger. A small finger-shaped sponge cake. Laplander. A person from Lapland, a region in Northern Europe. Micturate. Formal urinate. Odoriferous. Variant spelling of odoriferous. Overtrain. Especially of an athlete, train too hard or for too long. Pettifog. Old use quibble about trivial points. Pikestaff. Historical, the wooden shaft of a pike. Pyretic. Feverish or causing fever. Right-hander. A right-handed person. Self-serving. Concerned with one's own welfare and interests rather than those of other people. Spritzel. A sail that is extended diagonally from the mast by a small pole reaching to the upper outer corner. Strangulate. Medicine squeeze a part of the body so tightly that blood cannot circulate through it. Time-consuming. Taking a lot of or too much time. Tone deaf. Unable to recognize differences of musical pitch accurately. Top level. Of the highest level of importance. Underexpose. Expose photographic film for too short a time. Undismayed. Not dismayed or discouraged by a setback. Unhorse. Make someone fall from a horse. Arrabbiata. A spicy pasta sauce made with tomatoes and chili peppers. Cirrostratus. Cloud forming a thin, uniform layer at high altitude. Co-parent. Share the duties of bringing up a child. Crupper. A strap at the back of a saddle and looped under a horse's tail, to prevent the saddle or harness from slipping. Decalcified. Containing a reduced quantity of calcium salts. Get together. An informal social gathering. Lean-to. A building sharing a wall with a larger building and having a roof that leans against that wall. Liebfraumilch. A light white wine from the Rhine region. Moo. A pout. Obtrude. Become obtrusive. Outgas. Release or give off a substance as a gas or vapor. Prosy. Dull and unimaginative. Skycap. A porter at an airport. Soft soap. Informal use flattery to persuade someone to do something. Toxocariasis. Infection of a human with the larvae of a worm that is a parasite of dogs, cats, and other animals, causing illness and a risk of blindness. Uncontentious. Not causing or likely to cause disagreement or controversy. Volcanism. Variant spelling of volcanism. Way out. Informal, very unconventional or experimental. Womanize. Of Amman, have many casual sexual relationships with women. Communard. A member of a commune. Enwrap. Cover or envelop someone or something. Hexahedron. A solid figure with 6 plane faces. Jounce. Jolt or bounce. Knotgrass. A common plant with jointed creeping stems and small pink flowers. Ligneous. Consisting of or resembling wood. Low-rise. Of a building, having few stories. Malversation. Formal corrupt behavior by a person in public office. Myriapod. A centipede, millipede, or other insect having a long body with numerous leg-bearing segments. Omnisexual. Relating to or engaging in sexual activity with all kinds of people. Postpositive. Placed after the word that it relates to.